And we are live for the afternoon boxing talks. I will be joined by Boxing Beats and Rhymes in a short amount of time. Also, Maestro Almalcar. He will be joining us to discuss a select number of subjects. The previous live I did with D Styles and Cali X Boxing. It's going to be that kind of format. I'm going to ask them what they think about those four particular subjects, and just things relating to those subjects. I want to get their thoughts on that. Don't want to be on too long. Decided to go live a little early. Next week, Tuesday, I'm going to have Chantel Cameron on, Unified Super Lightweight Champion Chantel Cameron. Gonna do a Q&A with her. And yeah, man, it's a lot of stuff in the news. Some stuff I want to touch on here live, but other things I want to do I want to do an episode of the relay when it comes to them, like Lomachenko coming back, Devin Haney, all of that. I want to do an episode of the relay on that. What's goody, demented, Alfred, Sufami, Dan, Jack Nuff, the good guy wins, was goody, virtuoso. And yeah, man, the Lawrence Okolie thing is really interesting. I saw that what's it? No Smoke Boxing. I believe they released an article detailing some of the things that Lawrence had said. Sounded like he was taking jabs at Eddie Hearn. It sounds like that relationship. Yo, coach, you could join, man. You can join. That's all I'm saying. Let me shoot the coach a link. We're only gonna have one or two. We're only gonna have about 3 panelists today, but I'm gonna shoot Coach a link. Shoot you a link, Coach, because we're gonna try to keep it light today. So it's really only gonna be Coach if he wants to jump on, Beats and Maestro, and I'm gonna do it in the same format that I did before with D Styles and Cali X Boxing, to where I'm gonna ask them questions about a particular set of subjects to see what they think about it. I want to get the content creators' thoughts on those subjects. But when it comes to the Lawrence Okolie thing, man, it's interesting because I actually think he could probably flourish on Sky. I don't think that would be a bad move for him. Maybe there's something going on behind the scenes to where he's discontent with how he's been promoted at Matchroom. Though I maintain my position that however you were promoted there, right, it got you to a point to where Sky Sports is willing to give you more money than you're making. So you really can't say that they failed you if them promoting you got you more money. I'm going to get the coach on. I'm going to ask the coach about this. Coach.
Yes, sir.
You see that Lawrence, he kind of like, it's like he mad at Eddie over something. Like he mad at him and look like he wants to leave Matchroom. Do you feel that if he leaves Matchroom and he goes to Sky, that's a good move? That's not a good move. What's your thoughts?
Sky's not a bad platform, bro. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, man. Like, I like Sky.
Yeah.
Hey, Sky's giving us. You see what they're giving us?
You know what I'm saying?
I don't think that's a bad move, to be honest with you.
Do you think it kind of reflects poorly? Because I've been reading, I like to gauge how people feel about shit based on looking at what is being said. And it seems like a lot of the UK fans, they're like, oh, well, fuck him. They kind of like on some fuck him when it come to how he talking about Eddie, for example. I read a lot of the comments, and a lot of people said the dude is boring. They don't like his style, yada, yada, yada. A lot of negativity because of the negativity that he is expressing towards the people that have been promoting him. Do you? I got you.
Go ahead.
Shout out to Osvaldo. Osvaldo said Lawrence is going to go to Sky to get beat up by Reactport. Yeah, we got to talk about that. We definitely got to talk about that.
Hey, Jules, you know what? But I think it's more so they probably think that he's being disloyal.
I get that. I do get that.
You see what I'm saying?
But do you think it's disloyal? In other words, it's like, these things happen. Crawford, he had it out with Bob. For better or worse, he had it out with Bob. And like I seen a couple of guys complaining about, not being able to get fight dates and things like that on PBC. But when you come out and trash the promoter that has essentially put you in a position to make more money, is that a bad PR move? Because basically, Scott is offering you more money than you making. The only reason they doing that is because Matchroom promoted you. So is it? I don't know. Like, is it unethical for him to say what he's saying about Eddie and Matchroom and all of that?
Hey, Jules, you know what? We don't like. It might be this. This what I was thinking when I saw it. Right? I said, I wonder if it's something like going in the background. Like it has to be some kind of rift, because this seems like very uncharacteristic for Lawrence Okolie. You know what I mean?
He don't normally say shit.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking, it has to be something more to it that we don't know about. What it is, I have no idea. And I like Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn seems like he's a, he's very funny. He trolls stuff like that, sarcastic, kind of like us. Very sarcastic.
Real shit. Real shit.
Hey, so I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I like Eddie Hearn. I like Okolie, man. I don't know, man. It has to be something, man, that we don't know about. I don't know. I want to hear what Eddie Hearn has to say, because I didn't see any response to that either thus far.
Me neither. Me neither. I'm gonna say I feel I kind of got the sense in just seeing what's going on that it's one of those situations to where you're a promoter and every fighter that you got, they all think they it. They all think they it, like, oh, well, I'm the shit, and you need to yada 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 and yada yada yada, and it kind of feel that way. Lawrence didn't say that, so I'm not gonna put words in his mouth. That's just me saying that it feel that way. That it's like, well, what could Matchroom have done for you that they did not do? Because when you look at the landscape, Arsene Goulamarian has not fought in 2 years. I don't know what that dude. I don't know what's going on with that dude. Feel me? Then you think about Lunga with Don King, fam. Who the fuck want to have to deal with Don King? You see what just happened with the Dubois shit. You see what I mean? So it's like, what is it? Because they did not get you unification matches? Because the thing with Maris didn't want that fight. Like, you got to be able to stay. He didn't want that fight. You can't tell. He chose to go to Australia instead of unifying with you. I know they offered him more money to fight you than he made in Australia. I know they did. And what he chose was to go to Australia. So if the beef is, oh, well, y'all didn't get me a big fight, y'all didn't get me a unification match, is that really a Matchroom problem, or this division is kind of stagnant problem right now? Because it kind of looked like it's stagnant, being real with you.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good question, man. I wonder why Bradis did not choose to fight him.
I don't think he wanted to, fam.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie, bro. I like Okolie, but I don't know, man. I think Bradis could beat him though.
I don't think this is the thing. If you give Bradis good odds to beat Okolie, I understand, but Okolie is a spoiler, and not in a good way. Not in a good way. Like, he'll make it a clinch fest. He'll make it a fight that is a frustrating fight for the fighter and an unappealing fight for the fight, because he gonna hold, and he gonna hold, and he gonna hold, and then he gonna try for the right, and then hold, and then hold. And Bradis probably like, look, I could probably go to Australia, beat Ja Opataya, and then if I beat him, instead of fucking with Lawrence, I'm gonna try to get some of this Sky money, because I got a belt. Y'all got a cruiserweight. I got a belt. Let's get money. I think that even if Maris Bradis has good odds or had good odds to beat a Lawrence Okolie, the alternative was still easier. Or he thought it would be easier. I don't think he realized. And I said that J kid, I think he's gonna win, because he got the right shit to win. And you 37, fam. Like, you 37, you making Jake Paul videos and shit. It's like, bro, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so, you said that, yeah.
That like,
you did say that.
You chose the path, or what you perceived as the path of least resistance, that you thought that you'd go to Australia because Jai is easier to beat than Lawrence, but you ended up getting beat. So it backfired anyway. And the plan was, because I seen what his promoter said, his promoter wanted to take him to Sky after that fight, or Richard Riakporhe. So you clearly wasn't trying to fight Lawrence. Not if your plan was go to Australia, then go back to the UK for Richard Riakporhe. You was trying to get that Sky Sports money. That's what you was trying to do. And it's like you ducked him, basically. Like, I look at it as a duck. Like, it's a duck, man.
Yeah. He definitely ducked him. I think it was an unnecessary duck, but I don't know
Mm.
because I, I like Okoli, but I don't look at him as this invincible fighter.
No,
You see what
I
I'm saying?
believe it.
You know, you just brought something up to me that I didn't even realize. You're right. Stylistically, he's going to grab, he's going to hold, he's going to grab, he's going to hold. He's going to make it one of these boring, terrible fights. And yeah. I didn't, Jules. You just opened my eyes up. I didn't even look at it that way.
Yeah, that it's kind of like Ray Robinson at welterweight. Not Sugar. We talking about Ray Robinson, the journeyman
Right.
that he been around a couple of years. That yeah, you know, you probably could beat him, but it's gonna be an ugly fight. He gonna make you look bad. He made Mean Machine look bad. Made a couple of guys look bad, and it's one of them things to where yeah, I probably could beat him, but it's more trouble than it's worth for me to be doing a dance with this guys. It's more trouble than it's worth. So why do that when I could get this giant Opataya money? Shout out to Punch Perfect Boxing, Jamie Bourne with the perfect punches. Steven Munoz, de lo mío, que lo que Fundora mentioned. If he can't get a shot at Charlo, he'll move down to 147. Do you think he can win a belt there? 6'5" at 147 is nuts. I'll tell you why I don't think he can win a belt there. Because nobody's going to fight him unless they absolutely have to. Nobody's going to, just like you said, he's 6'4", whatever he is, going down to 147. Nobody's just going to give this guy a shot for the sake of giving this guy a shot unless the reset button is hit on a division to where all them belts go vacant, which is not about to happen. Not right now. Spence ain't going to fight him. Crawford ain't gonna fight him just because, like, fam, you not my mandatory. What? Like, I ain't just gonna give you a shot to be giving you a shot. So my answer, at least right now, is no. He don't win a belt from nobody. He could get a belt if it go vacant, but he ain't gonna win one from nobody because ain't nobody gonna just fight him to be fighting him. You know what I mean? He also said he wants Charlo. I like that fight, Charlo versus Fundora. But once again, I don't really feel like he gonna get that fight. If he get it and I'm wrong, awesome, because it's a great fight. But I don't think he gonna get that fight. I
But
don't.
the thing too, Jules, is he's gonna like with Charlo. He's undisputed now, so he has mandatories.
He
We don't
got
know
that.
what's going to go on with the IBF and WBO, that situation.
Exactly. You got Murtazaliev by way of the IBF, and he wants his shot now. You got Tim Tszyu by way of the WBO, and he wants his shot now. And I did a video on it a little over a week ago where I talked about how Murtazaliev actually comes before Tim.
I
Y'all
saw it.
reach, you know what I mean? And you seen that they reached, it looked like y'all told Tim whatever just to get him to chill. Y'all told him whatever, bro, like whatever, we'll fight you after the fight. And y'all knew that y'all already told Murtazaliev, yo, we'll fight you after this undisputed fight. We'll fight you. So you told them two guys the same thing, and now they both at your door. You can't satisfy them both. You're going to have to come up out of one of them belts, or the sanctioning bodies, the alternative, is they're going to have to work it out amongst themselves to where, look, WBO, fall back because we have next. We've been next, the IBF. We've been next. You know, Murtazaliev, he been a mandatory since 2019. Your guy didn't become mandatory since 2021. So we got next in the rotation. It's either you're going to come up out of one of them belts or they're going to have to work it out. Which one is which? I don't know what's going to happen, but that's the situation.
How will that get resolved though? Because you made a valid point. The brother with the IBF, he's been mandatory since 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So my common sense tell me he gets the shot first.
Exactly.
But so if you Jamel Charlo, like I don't even know how does that work out with the sanctioning bodies? Do they go to court or I don't understand what the solution.
What could happen, because it has happened, it just doesn't work out in every instance. But what could happen is the sanctioning bodies will convene and they'll work out a rotation that they honor amongst each other. You know, that's what normally happens. We got the Maestro in the building, and they gotta kind of like have a confab with each other in order to sort it out. Everybody, we got Maestro Amalcar in the goddamn building. Maestro, I'm gonna start with you, and then I'm gonna go to the coach. You know what I mean? Four subjects primarily that I want you guys to touch on as content creators. We have Canelo versus Golovkin 3 as a fight. And I'm gonna start with you, Maestro. What are your thoughts on this fight, and what is your excitement level for this fight on a scale from 1 to 10?
All right, so I think that's a pretty good question. It went from literally being a 0 to about maybe a 6. Reason being the win over Canelo, right? Going into the Bivol fight, I don't really think a lot of people were really clamoring for this fight with Triple G, the trilogy. Other than, the hardcore Triple G fan base that literally believes that he's got more title defenses than Hagler, Monzon, and is like an all-time great middleweight, or up there as maybe even the GOAT, and that he's got to right this wrong in terms of the result of that fight, right? Other than those people, I don't really think there's a lot of people clamoring. Another one would have been like a David Faitelson, who's just like a Canelo hater out of Mexico.
Oh, yeah, he just fucking hates. Yeah, he really hates Canelo, man. Like,
right? So, but the Bivol loss kind of changed things a little bit, because I would say the market that they're marketing this fight towards, Canelo now looks possibly a little bit more vulnerable. You got the Triple G win out there in Japan, maybe looking like better than he is at 40 years old, very past his prime. Because let's not forget, Triple G binned his title to not fight Derenchenko and took on Vanis Martirosyan blown up. Like, we're years from that. So, I mean, to me, honest, I'm not really all that interested in the fight. But I think it's more sellable now that Golovkin has won and Canelo has lost, if that makes sense.
No, it does. It does. Let me go to Beats. Beats just joined us. Boxing Beats and Robs from the UK. Beats, you see this fight. I think we all feel like commercially it'll do okay, but personally, your excitement level for this fight from 1 to 10, where are you?
It's an awkward one. At first, I was saying not much interest, but when you look at what the PBC are doing with the Spence and Crawford fight and who Tank is fighting, and these are the fighters that America are posting up as pound for pound guys and draws. You think to yourself, well, even though like Golovkin's form and his opponents haven't been good in recent years, this is still a relatively big, probably the biggest fight in boxing, aside from maybe Usyk and Joshua. Probably the biggest fight.
So 1 to 10. I got like a
Okay, let me sort that out. One sec. Audio.
All right, we got a super chat from Juan Carrillo. What it do, Jules? What it do, Coach? Great panel. Now let me go to the coach. Coach, are you what's your thoughts on this fight and your level of excitement on a scale of 1 to 10?
Scale of 1 to 10. I'm not gonna lie. My excitement is probably a 6. And it can go higher. I'm gonna tell you why. It's because, like you say, man, I like to see the fights. At the end of the day, undisputed title is on the line. I think it's going to be a good fight. Two guys who hate each other or don't like each other. I won't say hate, but they don't like each other. I'm kind of like where Maestro's at. I'm at a 6. I really wasn't clamoring for it, Jules. I'm not going to lie to you. I would rather see Canelo fight David Benavidez or some of these other guys who they say that he's avoiding and ducking and whatever, from an excitement standpoint. I would rather see that. But the Triple G fight, I think, how do I see it playing out? It goes over in my mind. I'm just like, this guy's 40 years old now. Canelo's coming off a loss. To a really good fighter and then a higher weight division. I just keep seeing him getting stopped to the body. I see Triple G getting stopped, and if he stops him, oh man, when he beat the old man up, yada yada yada. I'm like, hey, the old man wanted to smoke with him though. You know what I mean? So that's what's going to happen. That's what I believe. I think he's going to stop him, probably like in the 8th or 9th round, body shot. But I'm not. My excitement is at a 6. I'm going to pay for it and watch it though.
Maestro, you see that Canelo, he seems to be very aggressive with Golovkin. He's being very vocal about his disdain for this fighter. Some people believe that it's staged, that he's just trying to sell a fight. What's your interpretation of him saying, openly, plainly, that he doesn't like Golovkin, that he's a motherfucker, he's a double talker? What is that? Is that theatrics or is that genuine?
I think it's a little bit of both, Jules, because look, anyone that watches Spanish language ESPN, right, has seen David Faitelson talk shit about him like for years now, right? Mm-hmm. Even like some of his, compatriots, guys that have retired from the sport, I'm talking about legends, have not always been that positive about him. I'm talking about Juan Manuel Marquez. I'm talking about Barrera. I'm talking about Morales. But David Faitelson's next level, obviously. I think that's a lot of it is annoyance for sure. That really I gotta fight this motherfucker again. Like I already beat him in the rematch, and yeah, he bitched and moaned and complained, and his fans have been saying for years that he won the first fight, but we already dealt with that. So like, why am I being forced to do this again? So I think there's a little bit of that with regard to the criticisms of him in that first fight. But then the other side of it is he clearly does not like Triple G. I was live in New York City for the press conference. I actually sat down with Canelo, and he really doesn't like this guy. And I mean, the reasons are clear. He was called a cheater. He was told that he should put up onto a lie detector test. You guys all remember the whole Mexican style, right? That was pushed. It's like, yo, you guys in Mexico, you failing so bad that we got a dude from Kazakhstan out of Central Asia to be the real Mexican, because this guy that you got here, he ain't fight. That was Canelo trolling. For those of you who don't really know, like when they were going #Mexican style. So I mean, between the cheating allegations, to he being a liar, and by the way, Canelo's giving this dude his biggest paydays. It's not even close. So and this is going to be another big payday for him. So it's like, and I got to give this guy multi-millions of dollars to boot. So I think it's a combination of both. But he definitely does not like the guy. That's for sure.
So in your opinion, the disdain is not staged. It's genuine. I'm going to go to Beats. Beats, you see that Canelo is, he don't like Triple G. He's being more vocal about it now than he ever was in the past. Some people, they think it's theatrical. That, oh, bro, you just trying to sell a fight. Do you feel that's what he's doing, or do you feel he really don't like that dude, and he don't like that dude?
Well, they don't need to sell the fight. It's going to sell pretty well already. I think he's still a little pissed about the Bivol loss. He doesn't handle defeat very well. Well, when I say he shouldn't, because he's a winner, he doesn't handle defeat very well, and I think he wants to make an example out of Triple G. I think. Yeah, and I don't think he likes the idea of people saying, "Yo, you lost both fights" and stuff like that. He wants to clean all that up. What did he say? Did he say he wanted to your last payday? Is that what he said?
That's what he said. He said he wants to retire the guy.
Yeah.
By knockout.
Yeah, he wants to do some damage. I mean, he's gonna Triple G is probably gonna take some of the lumps for his frustration on losing to Bivol. You know what I mean? That's what I feel.
Coach, I didn't get your thoughts on that. Do you feel that he just putting on, that it's a show, that you just trying to sell a fight? Or is this real for real bad blood, that I don't like this guy and I want to retire him, and that's not me selling a fight. I'm sick of this dude.
No, Jules, I think he of course you got to sell a fight, like Beat said. You do have to sell a fight. But I definitely agree with Maestro. I think it's a lot of stuff, like the cheating allegations, the Mexican style, the stuff. I didn't even look at it the way Maestro said it about the trolling. It's kind of like, it was trolling Canelo. It was
for 2 years, bro. For 2 years.
And then Canelo probably don't even want to fight him again. He probably had someone else he wanted to fight, but he took the zone deal. Fine. He said, okay, I'll take the deal, because he probably didn't want to deal with the PBC anymore. They probably told him, hey, yeah, man, if you come back, we got some back end money for you.
Oh,
they probably told him, we got some back end money for you. But
back end. We're
Yeah,
still
but
defining the back end of the pantomime horse. Yeah.
hey, Jules, Canelo like no, puto, no. I need my 50 million up front, guaranteed.
Exactly.
We don't do the back end, but no, I think it's genuinely like he don't like this guy. I really think that it's just genuinely, the stuff that Triple G is saying. I really believe it's bad blood. I really think he doesn't like him. To be honest with you,
I want to add one more thing, Ring, and y'all remember when he signed this big deal with DAZN, right? Rumored to be a 9-figure deal with DAZN. First fight on that deal, I believe, was Steve Rolls.
Yep.
Made between 10 and 15 million for that, reportedly closer to 15 than to 10. Does that happen without Canelo? I mean, Canelo's probably sitting at home being like, bitch, like I gave you that $15 million and you're still talking shit?
Exactly.
Without that $15 million, like you are not, sorry, without me, my name attached to your name, there's no 9-figure deal. There's no 10 to 15 million to fight Steve Rolls or any of these other dudes, right? Why do you keep like running my name down, right? And I'm using, when I say bitch, I don't refer to fighters as bitches. I'm using Canelo's words. But
No. I mean, I definitely see your point because we all know that a lot of deals were struck, well, two primarily, very expensive deals were struck on the premise of a third fight. And yes, that was one of them. We all know that Golovkin versus Rolls is not a $15 million fight, not a $14 million fight. I don't even know if it's a $7 million fight. But you gave that guy that money and you brought him on board on the premise that there would be a third fight. So in that way, the point you're making about, well, look, the only reason you are where you are right now is from coattailing my name and the promise of a third fight. That's a valid point. That, bro, the Sergey Derevianchenko fight, that's not a $14 million fight, but you got that for that fight. And it ain't because it's a $14 million fight. It's obviously because this is all intended to be build up for our third meeting. So let's say this, I know that Golovkin is a big marquee name. I understand that. He is worth a lot of money. But a lot of the money that you're worth, it does have something to do with the redhead. It does. If we take him out of the equation commercially, what are your fights worth, without a Murata? Because Murata added a lot of value to that fight. What is Golovkin versus Steve Rolls worth commercially without the promise of a Canelo Alvarez? I'm not going to say it's as low as a Charlo versus Montiel, but it damn sure ain't $14 million. It's not a $14 million fight. Maestro, they're going to fight. You don't feel they like each other. What's the aesthetic of this match? How does it end?
Well, it ends. Well, the way I look at it goes pretty much the way that it went the second fight, with Canelo probably putting his foot on the gas a little bit more, knowing that he's got a 40-year-old in the ring. And let's be honest, Zerameta touched Triple G. Steve Rolls touched Triple G. Derevianchenko damn sure did more than touch Triple G. I actually thought he won that fight. Very close, but won it. He's going to go for the knockout. Don't forget, they asked for Mexican style after the first fight. They said, don't run, Canelo. Be a Mexican, Canelo. Stand here and trade, Canelo. And Canelo did all of that, fought him in that style, and did very well. The difference is now, this is at 168. Canelo said this is his best weight class. This is where he feels his strongest. He doesn't feel as strong as at 160. He doesn't feel as strong at 175. 168 is what he believes to be is his natural weight class. And I think it goes like the second fight, but with a stoppage.
Beats. You saw Golovkin versus Murata. What did you see in that fight? And do you really, because there are people out there, and I'm not ridiculing them, you understand, but it's just that there are contrasting opinions about the fight. Some people think that Golovkin has this God-given vibranium chin, that he could never be knocked out, he could never be stopped. Are you one of those people, or do you feel, all right, now, this is it, you're getting stopped?
Canelo ain't gonna stop Triple G. He's not gonna stop Triple G. Triple G, to be honest, like he fights down to the level of the opponents quite a lot, and you're gonna see a sharper Triple G. Whether he can maintain it to score a points victory, I don't know. But I don't see Canelo knocking him out. I see it being a very tight fight again. To be honest, like Triple G. Look, Triple G
is going to come out with everything he knows for this fight here. You can see, look, when you watch him fight Kell Brook, you see it like, and Willie Monroe, go on, hit me on the chin, drops his hand. He doesn't care. He really literally had total disdain for the guy. Go on, hit me. Bang, bang, bang. So what? And then, like, at a certain level, he has that kind of dominance. I think against Canelo, he knows he's got Canelo's numbers. You know what I mean? And I think that's why Canelo's so frustrated as well, because he wants to do a clean job, but can he do it? It's a good fight. Canelo should be a big favorite. Can I just answer something to what Maestro said? I think to a degree, what you said is correct. Like, Golovkin's paydays wouldn't be so big if they weren't on the back of Canelo's name. But in a way, like, the Zone really like that fight. They really like that. Would Canelo's paydays be so big if they didn't have the incentive of putting that Golovkin fight on?
Ooh.
They would be. They definitely would be. And we know that because of how much the PBC paid him to fight Caleb Plant. That had nothing to do with Triple G.
Ooh, that's a fair point. It's a fair point.
Okay. Yeah.
Canelo brought in that money himself. He brought that in with Caleb Plant. And let's face facts. Caleb Plant's not a star. Not a star globally, not a star here in his own country. Caleb Plant got a big payday because of Canelo and because he happened to hold the IBF middleweight championship of the world. In terms of the statement that he fights to the level of his opposition, I honestly don't remember anybody saying that until recently. I don't remember them saying that when he was fighting Matthew Macklin and Gabe Rosado and, named Martin Murray, Rubio, Daniel Gale. This is a new phenomenon of, Triple G fights to the level of his opponents. When he was closer to 35, he was running through people, albeit B-level competition. What's happened is he's gotten older, and in the case of Canelo, he started to face better fighters because, you could argue that his best opponent of all time is David Lemieux. Or
Gary Jacobs. Gary Jacobs.
His best win. Oui, c'est ça. C'est ça, madame et monsieur. David Lemieux, c'est ça.
No, it's got to be Gary Jacobs.
If it's not David Lemieux, his biggest win is probably Daniel Jacobs. It's one of the two.
Yeah, Daniel Jacobs.
No, and I've made, and look, it's like I'm not a Golovkin hater, but I'm not a Golovkin pole smoker. I've maintained that, like, your dog, your best wins is literally Daniel Jacobs and David Lemieux. That's your guys, all right? And that is not a fucking haggler. That's not a haggler resume. I'm sorry. Like, no, it's not. Y'all got him as an ATG middleweight for David Lemieux and Daniel Jacobs. Or the invincible Dominic Wade, the incomparable Willie Monroe, the unstoppable Daniel Gill. Like, really? This? It's like, come on now. There was a lot of angling when it comes to Golovkin. I think he's world class. I thought he was pound for pound. And I'm not taking that away from him. But the whole Hopkins, Hagler, give me a break.
Monzon.
Give me a break.
I mean, look.
Yeah.
We connect on Ring amongst many things. All right, I heard a guy criticizing you yesterday for being an Eddie Hearn nut hugger, I think he said. Whatever. But the fact is, we agree on a lot of things. One of those things being Reggie belts. I don't like Reggie belts. Golovkin is counting interim and Reggie belt title defenses as to make an all-time great middleweight. Stop it. Stop it.
No one else. You understand? Five of the 19 or 5 of the 20. It was either 5 of the 19 or 5 of the 20. That was a Reggie belt, fam. When Hopkins got his record, that was a full title we talking about. Those was full titles. Don't compare that to him holding the WBA Aldi belt or the WBA Best Buy belt or Best Yet belt. That's not the same thing. Y'all did that to blow things out of proportion. Do I think Golovkin, or did I think that he was pound for pound at the time? Yes. But y'all had him at number 1. Over Chocolatito.
Off an eye test, not based on competition, off an eye test and off of interim and Reggie belt title defenses. And no, I have the exact same standard for Trevor Bryant and now for Daniel Dubois, and I damn well have had the same standard for Tank Davis. Those are not real championships. Stop it, LRB. Stop it, Triple G fanboys. We don't.
It's HBO. HBO blew Triple G. out of proportion, didn't they? Like his accomplishments and stuff.
But Beats, this is what I'm gonna say. When Ellerby says what he says, we don't buy it. Promoters got to promote, and he's promoting. So to that effect, you're just doing your job. And HBO was just doing their job. Where it irritates me is people try to qualify it. Oh, he had his. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. All right. You don't consider Daniel Dubois the heavyweight champion of the world, right? For the WBA, Reggie, right? You're not, right? So why the fuck was Golovkin? Oh, because Daniel Gill. Bro, come on with the nitpicking and the hair splitting. Stop.
But nobody wanted to fight him, Maestro. Nobody wanted to stop it.
Enough. Let me read the super chat. Alfred Young says, like both guys, but Canelo should be careful because Eric Morales felt the same way in the third Barrera fight. Very valid point that you don't want to get careless in there because power is the last thing to go. Golovkin won't have to cut the 8, so he might be invigorated, having not had to cut the 8 in camp. It's a valid point that, don't go in there the way that Teofimo went in there with motherfucking with George, because you see that shit that you went in there looking for an early knockout and you got the shit beat out of you. Drew says Canelo compatriots are critical of his arrogance and his attitude back home and the Chilango and Jalisco rivalry energy from Marquez. Yep, he's got critics at home, but don't we all? Drew says, Maestro, if Canelo had dominated Triple G in the 2 fights, not Pop Dirty, he wouldn't be getting trolled. This is all Canelo's fault. Without Triple G, Canelo don't cross over like he has. They needed one another. Do you agree with that contention, Maestro?
No, I definitely don't. I mean, Canelo already had a big name in Mexico and was growing one in the United States prior to the Floyd fight. That was way before Triple G.
Exactly.
Yeah, but when did he start hitting 1 million pay-per-view buys? It was Triple G, wasn't it? He started hitting 1 million pay-per-view buys with Triple G, didn't he?
No. To that effect, Beats. Let me say this.
Forget Floyd. The Floyd don't count.
No Floyd. Even though Floyd only fought people that had names and fan bases, Canelo had that. He had a name and a fan base. Now, could Canelo have fought without Triple G? Right? Don't forget Miguel Cotto, 900,000 pay-per-view buys. Don't forget the Chavez fight before the Triple G fight. 1 million pay-per-view buys.
Shane Mosley.
Okay.
Shane Mosley. I mean, I could go on. Like, he had a lot of names on his record before he got to Triple G. Before he got to 160 pounds, he was already a star.
Yeah, so the idea that Canelo, it's like, I get where he's coming from, that this was your, Felix Trinidad Oscar de la Hoya. This was your Duran Leonard. That this was the equivalent of that for you. So in some ways you could say that he needed him or that he's a part of his legacy. I get it, but don't overstate it. Canelo was already a star going into the Triple G fight, which is why Triple G wanted him. All right, let's not be naive here. Yeah, all the belts. You wanted the purse, bro. You wanted the bag. That's why you were so thirsty for that Canelo fight. That's why you sacrificed so much. You sacrificed the IBF fighting Vanez. The IBF warned you, don't fucking fight that guy. And you fucking fought him anyway because you wanted to preserve yourself for the second Canelo fight. You abandoned the undisputed, all the belts, big drama, all that bullshit. You abandoned all that for a cheater, right? You called him a cheater. You said he got a gift in the first fight. Well, you abandoned all of that for the bag. Why? Because he's already a star. You were trying to become a star.
The other thing, let's not forget that he tried to basically fight Jaime Munguia when Jaime Munguia was the age of about a high school senior here in the United States. And the Nevada State Athletic Commission was like, let's pump the brakes on that. We don't need you bludgeoning a teenager on our watch.
That was
Triple G's merciless in that regard, like, you know what I mean?
But Beats, think about it this way. He got a fight rejected by the IBF. Another fight rejected by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. And this was all an effort to preserve himself against soft touches for what? A fucking Canelo fight. The last 5 years, maybe 6, of Triple G's career have been all about Canelo. That's what it's all been for.
Yeah.
He can say whatever. And for me, this is what Canelo doesn't like about him. My 2 cents. He doesn't like that. Like, yo, you gotten fat off of me, bro. You really have. You got fat off of me. You know, like a lot of what you did and a lot of what you became is directly associated with me. Because before me, who the fuck were you, dog? Who were you? Yeah. Drew says, again, Maestro, I said crossover. He did not get the ESPN weekly coverage in Vegas on site until Triple G fights. And get these invites to the Caleb golf tournaments, the celeb golf tournaments, until after the Triple G fights. Do you agree with that contention, Maestro?
No. I mean, there were week-long press junkets for him taking on Floyd, which was, again, years prior to that. And as for the golf stuff, he wasn't actually golfing back then. So I don't really understand that point. Like, he's admitted he only took up golf a few years ago. So,
yeah, look, I think it's important that you know, Maestro, Drew is picking Triple G to win the fight.
Oh, I gathered that, right? I definitely did that, but it's not. It hasn't been hashtag all the belts in hashtag a really long time, because he been the IBF title, right, against when he was supposed to fight Deverenchenko, and more recently, I mean, Boo Boo Andrade was out there hanging out at 160 literally forever. Eddie Hearn like saying, listen, we keep trying to make this fight with Triple G. They don't want it. He held a title belt at that time. He's been waiting for Canelo, and he took a calculated risk against Murata in Japan because he believed he could win that fight. But other than that, he hasn't been pursuing it. I'm sorry.
I want to say this. Golovkin got a lot of fame because of all the belts hashtag and campaign. He was supposed to be the anti-Floyd, the legacy guy, and it was all bullshit, bro. It wasn't all. If you wanted all the, what the hell happened then? Andrade was there. You telling me that the Zone wouldn't have given you good money for Demetrius Andrade? I don't fucking believe you. They gave you 14 for fucking Steve Rose. They would have paid you for that fight. He's a gimmick.
100%.
You know what, guys? It sounds to me that you guys have an issue with the great. You have an issue with Reggie Belts.
Yes.
I don't know what's wrong with Reggie Belts. And listen, and I was with you guys until you said something about the great American heavyweight, former heavyweight champion Trevor Bryant. You guys kind of oil on that, you know what I mean? Dane Dubois, he won. He is a heavyweight champion. You know what I mean? He beat the champ. And Triple G, you guys, I think you guys been a little hard on Triple G. You know what I mean? Steve Rose was a hell of a fighter. You know.
Yo, you know what he was, because Edgar Berlanga could not do to him what Triple G did. So we got to give him that much. He treated him like what he was and made him look like what he is. Whereas Edgar had to go through the gears, eat a couple of jabs, didn't look too hot.
Can I introduce a question into the debate, fellas?
Go ahead.
What happens if either man? What happens if Triple G loses, and what happens if Canelo loses? What happens to their legacies?
If Canelo loses, I am going to hide inside the couch cushions of my couch for talking so much shit. I'm going to hide out there for 2, maybe 3 weeks until a big fight rolls around. In all seriousness, I feel if Golovkin loses the way I think he's going to lose, he retires. If he loses the way you think he's going to lose, he'll fight Jaime Munguia on DAZN, and Jaime will retire him.
I agree with that.
You know what? I didn't even think about that. That's a good idea. If he loses to Canelo, fight Jaime Munguia, that's kind of like the passing of the torch like fight.
Yeah,
because he still have the belts. He'll still have the belts at middleweight.
Right.
It all depends. It all depends on how he loses. If the fight proves to be a physically taxing fight, it's hard to imagine that a 41-year-old Golovkin puts himself through another camp for another big fight. So if he gets stopped the way I think he's getting stopped, he retires. But if it happens the way Beats says it happens, that no, he'll lose, but it'll be a points decision, it won't be a knockout, then he'll stick around for one more payday, the final payday of his 6-fight deal. He's on the DAZN platform. So is Jaime. Jaime's beatable and young. They figure that. They'll cash him out with Jaime. Still has middleweight titles. He hasn't vacated them.
Man, Jaime ain't stepping up no time soon. He fight Triple G when he's 50. So
I'll tell you what. I don't get the sense that Matchroom's relationship with Golovkin is very good because of what Eddie Hearn said in reference to the Andre fight. Most people don't give Eddie credit for pressuring Gennady to fight him. He made public statements like, yo, what's Gennady doing, fam? Fight Andre. Got a champion here, unbeaten champion. That was many months ago. He didn't squeeze him, but he said those things. And I get the sense that, because he still has one fight left in the 6-fight deal, because Jaime Munguia needs a belt to fight for, and they don't want to send him to Showtime. Oscar doesn't want to send him to Showtime. He doesn't want him to fight Charlo. It's the ideal situation. It's the ideal scenario. Old, aging Golovkin coming off a loss, still a unified champion versus Munguia. Big fight on the West Coast. Big fight with the Chicano fans. It'll make them even more money, even if he loses.
yeah, it's a big fight. That's
Now,
coming of age fight.
Exactly. Virtuoso says, is this the trial of Triple G? That's exactly what it is. I'm sick of his bullshit. Old Dirty Bastard says, shout out to the panel. Shout out to you, Old Dirty. Drew says, correction, I'm picking Triple G to not get stopped and put 500 up, you dossers. I dig it. I dig it. I personally, I do think he's going to get stopped, but I've maintained throughout, it's not a cold knockout that I'm seeing. He's going to take a knee after a shot connects to the body. Maybe 2 shots put him down, right, where he takes a knee, and it'll be a referee stoppage. Canelo will jump all over him. He won't lose consciousness, you know what I mean? And I don't see him getting put on his back pocket. I see him taking a knee, getting up, and then getting swarmed. And that's how I see the fight ending.
Yeah, the body shots. That's the way I see it, because I think about Sergey Derenchenko. And in that fight, I thought Derenchenko got robbed in that fight. I thought he beat Triple G. And I remember the reactions he was having to those body shots, the wincing, it was just painfully obvious. It was getting to him, and Derenchenko was all over him. And he just kept going to that body. And Canelo Alvarez is an excellent body puncher. He's an excellent body puncher. His trap counters that he set in order to set those body shots up. When he come to you, step to you in the high guard, that's just the way I'm seeing it, fam. I could be wrong, but I think this time he's gonna stop him to the body. I really do believe that. Kind of like what you're saying, Jules. He's gonna take a knee, get back up. Canelo's gonna keep going to the body, and I just think eventually it's gonna get stopped.
Now, while I have you gentlemen here, we're going to shift over to the heavyweight title fight of all times. I want to say that Alexander Usyk stands to make more money by himself than the sum total of the Fury versus White Purse. Big business, big Anthony Joshua, big Saudis, big money. All right. Now, we know that Anthony Joshua enlisted the aid of Robert Garcia. Maestro, will it matter? Will it make a difference?
The only intangible here for me as it relates to this fight is the time that's gone or passed between the two fights and Usyk's, time in the Ukraine. I don't know what he was doing over there. I don't know the toll that might have taken on him mentally, physically. That, to me, that's the only intangible. I picked Usyk to stop Joshua in the late rounds in the first fight, and it almost happened. Anthony Joshua was so gassed that he could barely sit up off of his stool after 12 rounds to go to the middle of the ring for the, post-fight announcement of who won. I don't think Joshua is going to just change, because he's lined up with Robert Garcia. The things that Usyk was doing in there, specifically the things that were making it very difficult for Joshua to impose himself physically, not allowing himself to be clinched on the outside, getting out of clinches at angles and hitting as he was getting out of those clinches, timing Joshua on the way in with like perfectly placed, beautiful counter shots, right? Using his left hand over Joshua's jab. There was so many things he was doing in there. I don't even think that he literally unloaded everything that he's capable to do to Joshua. Whereas I kind of see Joshua at his plateau. I've picked Usyk to win, and the other thing for me is with the Zone now not broadcasting this in the U.S. What are they going to broadcast in his comeback fights against who? guys that are not on the same network. This whole business thing is like baffled me in terms of DAZN losing this fight to Sky, because I don't really know what their options are moving forward with Anthony Joshua coming off of 2 losses in a division where he won't be in the top 5 ranked, and where all of the other major players in the heavyweight division are aligned with other broadcasters and promoters.
Beats, he hires Robert Garcia. Your interpretation of the move, will it make a difference?
Well, making a difference, it's going to make a difference. I think we're going to see changes. Whether he can win the fight, though, is the question. Can he win it? I'll be honest. I don't want to sound biased. That's why I don't want to. Yeah, he's going to knock him out, because I really don't know. I really don't know. I don't know how much Joshua wants it. I think the hunger more than the train to change is what I'm questioning. Is the hunger really there? He's made so much money in such a short time. He's so endorsement friendly. If he really wants it, he has a shot. He has a shot at doing it. But watching that performance from Usyk, maybe he's got. And let me get this straight. I don't think Usyk is that good a heavyweight. I just think the styles are not matching well for Joshua. I think there's a few heavyweights who will give Usyk issues and probably beat him. I just don't think the style is matching well. I could actually see Usyk possibly beating Joshua and Joshua coming back and take some very good scalps after.
Derek Chisora gave Usyk a tougher fight than Anthony Joshua did.
Derek Chisora is a Capricorn, and that needs to be understood. That makes him special. Coach, I'm gonna go out on a limb here, right? Would I prefer that Joshua win? Absolutely. I think he's a better ambassador for the sport. I don't think he gets enough credit for what he's done for the heavyweight division and the influx of money and attention that the division got after his legendary fight with Vladimir Klitschko. That's what sparked the heavyweight division that we have here today. Make no mistake. Everything that happened was a knockoff. Wilder versus Fury was a knockoff of AJ versus Wilder. That's what the fuck that was. And then it was a knockoff of AJ versus Fury. That's all. It was an alternative to what was out there. And what was out there because of Anthony Joshua. But that doesn't mean he's going to beat Alexander Usyk, another legendary Capricorn. Coach, will Robert Garcia help AJ win this fight?
For me, it's simple. Robert Garcia will help. I like the way he trains. He's a damn good trainer. For me, it was the reason why Joshua lost that fight. He came with the wrong game plan, and he came with the wrong game plan. I think that was obvious. You're trying to box a boxer. It's not like Usyk got hurt a few times in that fight to the body, so he is susceptible to the body, and he was getting hit in the face. He got those stitches in his face and those deep cuts, and he wasn't even really getting hit hard from Joshua. So those cuts and marks that came on his face and on his and on the 2 black eyes, 2 marks on his right and left eye, that came from somewhere. So you know what I mean? They're making it seem like he was just beating. He did beat Joshua. He did. I'm not taking that away from him, but they're making it seem like, goddamn, this dude just wasn't. He wasn't getting touched. He didn't get hurt a couple of times, and the fight to the body when he went to the ropes. No. I saw that fight twice, and I know what I saw. Did Joshua lose? Absolutely, he lost. So he just came with the wrong game plan, and that's why he was looking lost in the ring. I think with the right game plan, he makes some adjustments. You know what I mean? He can win this fight. For me, it's a mindset, a mentality. I question Joshua's mentality, like mindset. How bad you want this fight? Are you willing to go through hell in order to get to heaven? Because you're going to have to go through hell to beat this guy. Because this guy, he is a Capricorn.
He's a Capricorn,
and this guy's coming to fight.
Let me ask you something, Coach, because you train people, right?
No, I don't. I'm not a boxing trainer. No, I'm not.
No, but I mean in terms of fitness.
Yeah, fitness. Yeah.
To me, his Achilles heel is his cardio, his aerobic capacity, and he struggles with guys like Usyk because they have a high work rate that he can't keep up with, and he gasses heavy in fights. I mean, when you look at how tired he was at the end of the fight, that's got to be a cause for concern for anybody back in Joshua in this fight, because he too was also getting hit with the body. Do you think that Robert Garcia is going to make changes to Joshua in terms of his cardio?
No, I mean, I'm the cardio and why he gasses. I really don't know as it relate to what would be the solution to that. I'm just saying that I think that the first fight, it was painfully obvious that he had the wrong game plan.
Let me say this. Let me say this. If you know, I agree with Beats. I agree with Coach. It's all about mindset. Everybody's thinking about a 12-round fight because the last fight was a 12-round fight. The mindset that Joshua needs to beat this guy. Fuck a 12-round. Fuck a fight. I'm here to kill this guy. Fuck all that. Like, bro, when that bell ring, your ass is grass, bro. You better stop me because I'm gonna be trying to. As long as my 2 feet are standing, I'm gonna try to stop you. I haven't gotten that read from Anthony Joshua, if I'm being honest. I haven't. I've been watching the presses. I've been watching the interviews. I don't see that killer. That don't mean he's not there. I'm not fucking God. I don't know everything, but I don't see it yet. If it's there, I don't see it yet. What Robert can help him do is hit the right places. You over here fencing with the jabs with this guy. That's like you shouldn't. That was the opposite of what I thought he was going to do. Robert can tell you to step into your jab. Fuck if you hit him with the right hand afterwards or not. Step into your jab, step into your right, and then hook him to the body. It's the body shot you want to land. That's the one you want to land. You want to take this little motherfucker's legs away, finish every combination you throw, and throw combinations, but finish every combination with a body shot. In that area, that's where I feel Robert might help. But just like you guys are saying, Robert can't fight the fight for him. It's not guaranteed success because you have Robert. But if Robert's going to show up anywhere, he'll show up there. And what he's doing, whether or not it'll work, is a different question.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Joshua did try to impose himself physically in that first fight, especially, in kind of the middle rounds. And Usyk just didn't let him do it. Usyk.
Sorry, Maestro.
No, it's all good. He's too skilled, and he's got the footwork and also the strength. I mean, that's the other thing too that surprised me later on in the fight. Like, he was like almost manhandling Joshua, but again, a lot of that had to do with Joshua's fitness later on in the rounds and his inability to get past his fatigue. But I think Usyk is too high skilled to allow for the kind of jab clinch, jab right hand clinch style that AJ has seemed to have adopted after fighting Vladimir, who obviously perfected that style. But we'll see.
Let me say this before I pass it to Beats. There's a fighter, female fighter. I love her, Natasha Jonas, right? She went up to 154 and, she won a title. And a lot of people look at what she did as, punching power and this, that, and the other, when in reality, it was because you were hitting her with shots she didn't see. It's not just raw power. That's what Usyk did to AJ. He kept hitting him with lead left hands. He didn't see him coming. And it's those shots you don't see that have the most on them. It's those shots you don't see that eventually take you out. That's what I see. And I see a situation in this fight that's not dissimilar from what happened with George Kambosos and Teofimo Lopez after their fight, to where, look, George got a good version of Teofimo to beat. I think Usyk is a great fighter, but I also don't think any man is invincible. If AJ goes in there like a heavyweight should, fuck these rounds, fuck this ref, fuck Jeddah, fuck Saudi, fuck Eddie, fuck Matchroom, fuck Sky. I'm here to kick your fucking ass. If that's where you at, you gonna win because he's little. And you marked him up in a fight you were losing, he's got marks all on his face. So you did touch him. Imagine if you hit the gas. Imagine, throw caution to the wind. Fuck that shit. If I gas out in round 6, here's a trick. We ain't getting to round 6. You going down, fam. I don't give a shit. You going out. Round 1, I'm trying to take you out. If you survive that, here's round 2. You better take me out because I'm going to take you out. I don't see that. I don't really. He's still, he's still being very diplomatic,
friendly, taking selfies.
Yeah, like they took a selfie together.
I also just think Usyk is too skilled to be knocked out early if he chooses that he does not want to be knocked out early. I mean, if Usyk knows that his key to winning this fight is to take it to the middle and later rounds when AJ is going to be more fatigued, he's not going to put himself in the position to get knocked out early in the early rounds. I just think he's too high level for that. You know, I think it's very rare when you see guys with his kind of technical ability who don't want to get hit or don't want to get knocked out. I mean, but
it's a fair point. It's a fair look. He's a Capricorn. He gets weird haircuts. He doesn't care what I think. If he did, he wouldn't be getting haircuts like that. I would never go outside with a haircut like that. I would like you, bro. That's how you know that he is an individual that is fully maturated to where you can walk around with a haircut like that. That's a danger. Like, I'm not playing psychologically. That's a dangerous. I wouldn't walk around with a haircut like that. I don't have the intestinal fortitude to walk around with that. I don't. He does.
Hey, Maestro, I don't want you to sound like Teddy Atlas, man. You know I be getting on Teddy Atlas when he watching
we're firemen.
When they're watching Lomachenko, you know, what my brother name, Timothy Bradley. You know, he's like the Matrix in there, Dre, he's the Matrix. He's downloading the information. Man, you know, man, Teofimo beating this dude ass right now, man. He doing a 6 round to 0. No, he's downloading the information, Dre. He's like a computer. You don't understand. He kind of like, you know.
No, I get what you're saying, and you know, maybe I'm mesmerized by the Olympic gold medal. Maybe I'm mesmerized by the undisputed run at 200 pounds and the fact that he took out AJ at heavyweight. But I don't see him being a Teofimo Lopez at the Hulu at Madison Square Garden coming out just trying to knock out his opponent. And, you know, sorry. I don't see AJ doing that. And you know, we seen a first round knockdown like that. I think Usyk is too high level. Right. But you know what? I could see if AJ does go out with a strategy like that, maybe Usyk will have a Gambosis moment and drop him in the first round. AJ, I don't know. But if I'm Usyk, I'm not going to war the first few rounds. Let this dude, you know, follow me around the ring. He's a big guy. You know, he's got a lot of muscles, right, which need a lot of oxygen, right? Let him get tired, and I'm going to get busy in the middle rounds, and I'm going to try to stop him late. That's how I would approach it if I was Usyk.
Drew says, as Ring IQ's credentialed correspondent that will be in Jeddah, Big Femi will be stopped by the #1 pound-for-pound fighter and basic southpaw. Shout out to Smokey the General. Got a couple more super chats here. Drew says, AJ a real cash cow. Usyk's making more in this fight than what Fury made in his last 2 fights combined. Fair point. He's fighting a cash cow, and that's what happens when you fight a cash cow. It goes moo. That's what happens. Shit, I just skipped the super chat. It's 2 of these motherfuckers. It's 3 of these motherfuckers. Oh, Jesus Christ. What? It's just a lot of super. All right, here's one. All right, let me go to Country. Country says, Joshua took the rematch too fast. Usyk stops him this time around unless AJ smashes him early. But the odds are not in his favor. AJ needs more time in Europe, in Country's opinion. And I agree, you know, nobody becomes a different fighter overnight. AJ uses his size and reach against Usyk before the KO. H-Dawn is going with AJ to win. That is why the Garcia choice is iffy. Garcia said he couldn't get Jose Ramirez in the right mindset for Josh Taylor. And do Garcia fighters make adjustments? A very valid point, but don't forget, Bam Rodriguez is a Robert Garcia fighter, and he's got some great feet. Feet, believe it or not, Joshua's feet have more to do with winning this fight than his hands do. AJ needs Ann Wolf. Would have mentally broke him and fixed him. That's what he needs. He needs to be locked in a meat locker, 60 degrees for 2 days, 3 days before the fight. Usyk fastest heavyweight AJ's going to fight. He's going to gas. Attack from round 1, go for it, or lose again. But does AJ have the ferocity? That's what a lot of people think he's lost over time. His killer instinct and his willingness to engage, his commitment to his power shots. He seems gun shy. So those things in mind, and that being said, it sounds a lot like most of you guys are picking Usyk to win this rematch. Maestro, does your boy Tyson Furry Knuckles, does he fight him if Usyk wins?
Well, I honestly don't know. You know, my comrade Kenny T that I do my Monday show with, Mano a Mano, he thinks that Usyk knocks out Tyson Fury. I'm not going to go that far, but I spoke to Eddie Hearn about it at the press conference for Canelo Triple G, and Eddie Hearn is convinced that AJ will get a fight with Fury if he wins, but he's not convinced that Fury will fight Usyk if Usyk wins. I mean, I don't know. Look, if they can secure the kind of bag they got in Saudi Arabia for Fury versus Usyk, I think Fury would take the fight.
That bag is an AJ bag. I want to say that. That's an AJ bag. That's not. I like Usyk, but that's not an Usyk bag. That's an AJ bag. It's got AJ's name written on it. You see what I mean? AJ is the money.
Yeah, and then they resold those TV rights at a big come up, from what I'm hearing.
It's a huge come up, bro. They already made look, Matchroom, and this is why I don't view it as a loss. If it's a loss for anybody, it's a loss for DAZN, but not necessarily a loss for Matchroom, because Matchroom literally made their money already. They 83 million pounds. They already made their money. Now it's on the Saudis. Y'all do what y'all want. Y'all want to sell it to Sky? Sell it to Sky. You know what I'm saying? Sell it to Fox. Sell it do what you want to do. You know what I mean? Because we made our money. It's not a loss for Matchroom. It's not a loss for the fighters. They're getting buku dollars. You know what I mean? It's really a loss for DAZN. Beats. If Usyk wins this fight, look in your crystal ball. Does Tyson Fury fight this man?
Well, if he's concerned about legacy and the tide of opinion going against him, he'll have no choice. I mean, that's undisputed. It's all right him saying he's held all 4 belts, but he hasn't held them all at one time. So if he has no shame, then no. If he could take, and I don't think he takes the criticism very well. I think he'll be not forced into the fight, but public opinion will be turning against him. Even his own fans, they'll start turning against him and say, "Well, why are you not taking him on?" Like, the Usyk payday is going to be big, even if it's not as big as AJ. It's a huge fight. It's an undisputed fight at heavyweight, and he's got the missing piece of the puzzle, just like Usyk has the missing pieces. And if he doesn't, cooperate, he's gonna look soft out there. He's gonna look so a big soft, you know what I mean, cuddly toy, big soft dorsa.
Let me ask you something, Beats, and this pertains to you directly because you are in the United Kingdom that has been united. Boris Johnson has resigned.
Yes.
Has resigned. Can Eddie Hearn lead us to a brighter future?
See the little kid with the pickaninny watermelon smile.
No bullshit.
All right.
Let's say he don't fight Usyk, right? And I'm not saying that he will or won't. I don't want what I'm saying to be interpreted as a prediction so much as if he didn't, where does he rank amongst the all-time great UK heavyweights?
Oh, he's up there, but like anyone who says that he's ahead of Lennox or even AJ, if you don't fight for undisputed, as far as I'm concerned, he doesn't surpass AJ. All right? And I know people will say, "Oh, no." If you don't go for it, if you don't take the risk of putting your L on the line to go for it, you don't support AJ's. How much world title fights does he have? How much fights has AJ turned down? No, you don't surpass him. Like, he doesn't surpass Lennox. He doesn't surpass AJ, in my opinion. Who else would he have to get in front of?
Frank Bruno, Herbie Hyde.
Nah, Bruno didn't make a defense, man. He beat Oliver McCoy.
I'm just throwing out names of UK heavyweights. I think he's definitely bigger than those guys.
Yeah. He's bigger than all of them guys.
Julius Francis, who got a beautiful KO the other day. Big up.
Beautiful. Coach, in your heart of hearts, if Usyk wins this fight the way that many people are expecting him to, does Fury fight him?
Hell no. He don't want none of that Capricorn, man, from the Ukraine, man. That man said he want $500 million to come out of retirement, or fake retirement, because we know he's not retired. Hell no, he don't want no parts of Capricorn. I'm riding. Listen, if Usyk beat Joshua, I'm riding with the Capricorn all the way. Tyson Fury, all 6'8" of him, he don't want none of that guy. And that's the reason why he's saying that he wants $500 million and this and that, yada 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 yada. That's a duck move. That's pricing yourself out. You got to be what the talking points they use. You got to be realistic. All that stuff there. He will not fight that guy. None. You ain't got to worry about seeing that shit.
Perhaps I'm biased. Perhaps my better judgment is compromised. But I'm going to reach out into the cosmos for them to grant AJ the victory because the heavyweight division is a better division when he's got those belts, and that's just fucking reality. One thing about AJ that he doesn't get credit for is he's going to fight. It doesn't matter if Hergovic's the mandatory, if Joe Joyce is the mandatory, if Daniel Dubois is the mandatory, if Usyk is the mandatory. He's going to fight. And the division is better for having a fighter like that. So I'm going to be biased, and I don't give a shit who doesn't fucking like it. I don't care if they, oh, you're Eddie. What, bro, you a Fury cocksucker, though. You see what I mean? Like, you fuck Fury's cock, don't you? You a Frank Warren fanboy. Hey, what's Frank's best card that he got right now? You know what I mean? For all the shit that I get, because I get a lot of shit, right? Oh, you a Matchroom show. Well, Matchroom is about to give me Bam Rodriguez versus Chocolatito. How could I not be a fan? How could I not be a fan? Sonny Edwards is about to fight Julio Cesar Martinez. How could I not be a fan?
Anthony Yard versus Arthur Bitterby.
Oh, stop it, Maestro. Stop it.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
I don't know what that is. We all know what that is. You see that? I don't know what that is. Like, bro, look, and I like Anthony. For what it's worth, I honestly believe, and I don't know how Beats is gonna feel about this. I feel like Yard versus Buatsi is an according to Hoyle 50-50 fight.
Yeah, I like that fight. And the funny thing too, I think that Bivol Buatsi is almost as big a mismatch as Better Beeb against Yard. And it looks like that's the fight Matchroom's trying to make. I don't think he's ready for Bivol, honestly. I think that we should try to settle who's the best light heavyweight in the UK. And guess what? We got names because we also got Callum Smith out there who did something to Leonard Castillo that nobody's been able to do, including Dimitri Bivol.
Exactly. He made him shake like a shake weight. Like a vibrator that fell on the floor or some shit.
That's a compatriot too, right, Jules?
Why think I'm saying that, man? He was.
Let me tell you. Let me break down how this should go. Right. Whoever challenges Bivol for that title from the UK, right, should be able to pack out the O2 Arena because they fought each other like Yard versus Buatsi at the O2. Fight that fight. That will sell out the O2, and in turn, Bivol could come over here, and then you sell out the O2. If these fights ain't start selling out the O2, they don't deserve to be in the ring, right? Yard has fought. Let me tell you Yard's record, right? Since beating Kovalev, he fought someone in Spain, right? With a 4-48-3 records, and he wasn't a light heavyweight. He was a middleweight or something like that, right? He fought Dex Spellman, who just come off the building site, bro, right? From up north, right? Next. Lyndon Arthur, not world class, good fighter, 17-0. But
and lost to him.
Yeah, and he lost, right? And then he took another guy named Alex Theron, pumped up light heavyweight, blew him out easy. And yes, he got the Lyndon Arthur. He hasn't done, he's got 2 world title fights in his career. 2. Right?
Beats.
And they've kept him inactive since December when he beat Lyndon Arthur. And you're going to fight for a world title against this guy who just flattened out Joe Smith? It's ridiculous.
Off of inactivity when you're not.
It's not like he's injured. He's not injured.
No,
they offered him Buatsi, Beats. They offered him the shit.
Come on, man.
He fought December 2021. He hasn't been inactive.
That's not inactive, Coach.
Coach, wait, one at a time. Coach, remember, the fight with Better Beef is in the fall, going into the winter. That's inactive. If the last time you fought was in December of last year, and the next time you fight is in October of the following year, that's a little bit inactive, fam.
It's inactive, Coach.
Listen, there would not be any what my brother named Anthony Yard hate tolerated. Anthony Yard is the best thing smoking in the light heavyweight division in the UK. We know this. Artur Beterbiev, he's in trouble. He's in over his head. He understands this. He's shaking like booty meat right now, and he know what time it is. And so just be ready. Just be ready for when Yard. Be ready. Y'all just be ready, man. Be ready, man. Hey, listen. Put the whole house on Yard, man. Put the whole house on Yard.
Now, we have been joined by sporting icons. Sporting, everyone, round of applause for Sporting.
Yay!
Yo, what up, Sporting Icons? What's up, bro?
Yo, big up. Firstly,
Yes.
apologies, I'm late. It's my fault.
I have a series of questions for you, Sporting. The first question I'm going to ask is in reference to Alexander Usyk versus Anthony Joshua, the addition of Robert Garcia to Anthony Joshua's corner. In your heart of hearts, do you believe it will make a difference? All the difference for Anthony Joshua, Olafemi Joshua.
I think that him bringing in Robert Garcia, as long as it helps him with his mind to go back to how Joshua used to be, yeah, of course. And to be honest, I fully expect Anthony Joshua to defeat Usyk anyway.
What?
Yeah, I do. I think that Joshua, he ain't going to go in there tip-tapping away the way they did last time. He would have learned from that one, because anybody who has done any kind of boxing, even just like a little touch sparring and that, you know that when you're tracking your opponent and you're playing chess with your opponent, that's what drains you more than being aggressive. So I think that's
a good point.
Joshua has to, don't worry about what Usyk's doing. Do what you're doing. Get in there and get him done. Get him out of there. But he could end up walking onto something. He's going to have to play that dangerous game, but that's his only chance.
That is his only chance. I want to say, let's say it goes the other way, Sporting. Let's say Usyk wins the rematch. A lot of people are expecting him to win the rematch. Will Tyson Fury fight him if he does?
No. Definitely not. To be honest, I don't think that Tyson Fury is interested in anybody else other than Joshua. Tyson Fury likes to push the narratives of I'm the best, but I haven't got to prove it. I haven't got to fight everybody. I'm the best. I'm going to retire undefeated. I'm the best. And you know what? He'll just leave his fans forever in the comment section on social media saying he's the greatest thing ever and he's proved it, and you have to educate the morons.
I agree.
I disagree with that. Tyson Fury has beat Deontay Wilder 3 times. He just beat Dillian White, one of the greatest heavyweights in boxing. So I totally disagree with that, sir. That's all I have to say.
Separate.
Right? Go ahead, Ring.
Separate question in reference to a different subject that we covered earlier, and I didn't get the chance to talk to Sporting about this. You got the Canelo Alvarez versus Gennady Golovkin fight, and on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you gauge your own excitement for that trilogy?
Somewhere around the 7 or the 8. Reason being is that how's that last fight with Bivol affecting Canelo? Lastly, when Triple G fought Murata, I'm starting to think, maybe we can actually see for the first time Triple G not only hit the canvas, but be actually knocked out. And it's got a lot of intrigue for me. It really does.
When you think about Canelo Alvarez's demeanor towards Triple G ahead of this trilogy, he's been a lot more vocal about his disdain towards that fighter. Do you feel that it's theatricality we're seeing, or is that a genuine disdain that he has for that fighter?
I think it's both. I think he don't like Triple G anyway because of things that Triple G said, which, let's be honest, some of it was true about PEDs and everything. But it is theatrics because he knows that he does have to sell this. Because I'm pretty sure, doesn't Canelo have, I know he's got a guarantee on his contract with DAZN, but doesn't he get a cut of whatever new subscribers he brings in?
I heard that, but it's not verified, but I heard that some time ago. I heard that some months ago that he has incentives with his deal. If a certain number of subscribers comes on, he gets a little something off the top. I remember hearing that.
Yeah. So I think that Canelo, he definitely don't like Triple G, and Triple G don't like him. And to be honest, I have to give credit to both of them, because both of them in those 2 press conferences, I don't know why they needed 2 press conferences. This isn't the sell tickets on the door era anymore. You only need 1. But still, in both of those press conferences, Canelo was playing the antagonist and Triple G was just sat there and he played his role perfectly. Like, you don't bother me. You can say whatever you like, and I like the fact that you're getting pissed off at me.
That being said, commercially, no, not even that. I want to move on from that. What do you think this fight is going to do in terms of pay-per-view buys? Canelo did a reported little over 600,000 with Dimitri Bivol. Does this fight do 1 million pay-per-view buys in today's unstable market?
Well, what did the one do 4 years ago, the rematch?
1.1, I believe it was.
Then I don't think it'll do as well as that, but I think it'll probably do between 900 and a mil.
Now this question is
fight of the year.
This question is for everybody. I didn't ask this before. It just dawned on me. Some people don't think Canelo's going to fight Dimitri for a second time. Some people think that he shouldn't. Do you think that he will? Do you think that he should? I'll start with Sporting.
I think he will. Should he? Yeah, why not?
Why not? Caution to the wind.
I would understand it if he didn't and he waited a little while, because Bivol is not really old, so he can wait there for a little while. Maybe he goes fight Charlo or Benavidez. To be honest, I'd love him to fight one of them two, or if not both of them, just to get rid of him, to be honest.
Let's go to Beats. Beats. Some people don't think he's going to fight Dimitri for a second time. Some people don't think that he should. What do you think?
Well, okay. He started winning titles at 154. Now, there's a little echo there. I don't know. I did to like at one. I know. Okay, fought Hatton. That wasn't even at the right weight limit, but he has won 154-pound fights. He's won fights at 160, 168. He has an option. Like people could cry him down. Oh, you're ducking the bibble smoke. Well, how much of you have challenged light heavy? You started at 150 of that quality, so he's got the option. To be honest, he has the option to either address the loss or just leave it and stay at 168. As far as I'm concerned.
So you wouldn't hold it against him, Maestro. Are you of a similar thought process? If he never fights Dimitri Bivol again, would you hold that against him?
I wouldn't hold it against him, but Canelo told me a few things that I found very interesting when I went to the press conference for Triple G Canelo in New York. And I agree, it probably didn't need 2 press conferences, but I think that's also part of the marketing of the fight. Like, wow, this fight's so big, we actually needed 2 press conferences for it, that kind of thing. But one, he said that his best weight is at 168. He says it's where he feels his strongest and most comfortable. But then he also later on said that he 100% is going to go for the rematch with Bivol, and that he's going to insist that it be at 175 pounds because he doesn't want any excuses. So I'm a guy that takes Canelo for his word. If he said he's going to do that, I have no reason in terms of his track record to disbelieve him, right? Now, do I think that that's a good move? Absolutely not. The guy that outboxed Canelo over 12 rounds can definitely do that again. And the funny thing about it is Canelo, I don't know if he's delusional about this or whether he's just saying this, but he after the fight at the post-fight press conference, I was out there in Vegas for the fight. I was at that press conference too. He was like insisting that he had won the fight. So it's like it's kind of all over the place. I mean, he's not a guy that shies away from a matchup, from a competitor, from a hard challenge. So I see him doing it at 175. But me personally, or Maestro management, if I got the call and they're like, yo, we need your advice on this fight, I'd be like, yo, if you're Canelo and you really want to do this fight, just take him at his word. He said he'd come down to 168. He wants the shot at your belts because he can make 168. Do it at 168. But I think 175 is a bad move for him. He got lucky with that one aged version of Kovalev, right? That might have been an anomaly, right?
Fair enough. Coach, he's saying he wants to fight. Do you think he should take it? If he knocks out Gennady or he decisions Gennady or whatever, however it ends, so long as Canelo wins, are you expecting him to fight Dimitri for a second time?
I mean, I think his ego wants him to fight him again. He probably will fight him again. I think if he fights him again, he's going to be the beating is going to be worse this second time. I think Dimitri Bivol is only going to probably step up the pace on him. You know what I mean? In the second fight, from what I'm seeing. So I don't think he should take the fight again, but I think he will. Canelo is a very prideful individual. I think he will take it, but I think the result is going to be worse, in my opinion, if he does.
I'm going to go to Sporting. Who stands a better chance of winning their rematch? Joshua against Usyk or Canelo against Bivol?
Better chance? Canelo.
Maestro, same question.
Same answer. Canelo.
Beats.
I don't think Usyk is going to lose to Joshua. There's nothing I saw in the first fight that indicates to me that Joshua is going to pull it off. And by the way, it's not just that fight. It's the Joe Parker fight where he had help from a referee that wouldn't let Parker fight inside. It's the Akam fight where the referee ended the fight earlier than it should have been ended. It's the first Andy Ruiz fight where he got knocked out right here in New York City. It's the second Andy Ruiz fight where, you know, he didn't do all of this going to war and let me plant my flag down and like get this guy up out of here. He did the exact opposite against an Andy Ruiz who was 30 pounds heavier than already being hella out of shape for the first fight. And then you also go to the Pulev fight, like where it looked like if he really sat down on his punches and went for it, he could have got Pulev way out of there earlier than he actually did. I believe it was a pull counter he caught him with later on in the fight. I didn't rewatch that fight. I'm sorry. I only watched it once. So it's not just the last fight. It's all of the fights that I mentioned. Usyk all day.
Fiery opinions from the Maestro. Beats. Who stands a better chance?
AJ. Easy. AJ. Like height, reach, weight, leverage, knockout percentage, a change of mindset. Is going to be a totally different fight. This time here, I expect AJ to ask a lot of questions of Usyk, and we'll see. We'll see. He's got a great chance of turning it around.
Drew says Daniel Kinahan will make Fury take the Usyk fight for opening his mouth and bringing the heat. Maybe he will. If Joshua somehow wins the rematch and reaches the fight against Fury for all the marbles at Wembley, Eddie Hearn should be the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Off the Canvas says, evening, gents, regardless of what Usyk does, you can't defend against a powerful 100% AJ. When that right hand snaps Usyk's jaw, AJ 2.0 will be reborn. I want to say this. I see some of what Lennox Lewis experienced in Anthony Joshua, to where the second things don't go to plan, he has to be a piece of trash that was always a piece of trash. I hate those opinions, you know what I mean? Because I've seen that. I saw Lennox go through it. I saw Vladimir go through it. Maybe I'm a little biased, but it really does feel like one of those knee-jerk reactions to where, yeah, Usyk won the fight, but this is the heavyweight division, man. You get hit one time, it's over in this motherfucker. It's over.
Can I just add to that quickly, right? A lot of people are saying AJ just has to be more aggressive. The way I see it, yeah, in the first fight, he did plan to be more aggressive. He was working his way in. But when he got caught with that backhand shot, that changed the whole complexion. It took a lot of his confidence away. I think if he goes in there and he goes in there with a mind state not to be discouraged and look, try not to get hit clean. Look, you're going to get hit. Try not to get hit clean. But, like, be more precise with your punches. You know, like, follow up your leads, your power punches. This is a different fight. This is a very different fight. And I think Usyk, he'll ask the questions out of Usyk that need to be asked. You know what I mean? That's what I believe.
Look at it this way, guys, right? If that was an Anthony Joshua, and we all agree that was a one-sided win for Usyk, 8-4, 9-3, however, look what Joshua done to Usyk's face. And that was a wrong game plan.
What does he do with the right one? What does he do with the right one? That's the main thing. I want a Mexican Anthony Joshua. I need Anthony to come out in Jeddah with a poncho and a sombrero, and then I'll know he's ready, because you need to be a mid-range to inside fighter to win this fight, period. That's what you need to be.
You say that, Jules, but AJ's been doing his best Ray Vargas impression for the last few fights.
I gotta do my man like that, son.
There's different levels there's different kinds of Mexican. He's been following the Beristain version of Mexican boxing. Let's keep it real. The AJ that you saw in Ruiz was boxing on his toes, jab, clinch, jab, right hand, clinch, refused to fight on the inside. Right. And I'm sorry, but when you have fight after fight after fight after fight where you don't do these things, one training camp with Robert Garcia is not going to, like, It's the same like electroshock therapy, and it's like, which by the way doesn't work, and then all of a sudden you're this new AJ 2.0 that we've never seen. I mean, it's a lot to expect that from this guy.
But see, this is my contention, Maestro. We don't need a new AJ. We need an old AJ. We don't need a new AJ.
The old AJ that was fighting lesser quality competition and blasting guys like Dominic Brazil, Dillian White, and Prince Charles Martin out of the ring.
But Maestro, can you not say, and you said Derek Chisora gave Usyk a better fight than AJ, right?
Yes.
Derek Chisora is not on the level of AJ. So when I say we don't need a new AJ, we need an old one that throws uppercuts.
But here's the thing. AJ, even he admits to this in these interviews he's been given for years, right? Let me turn the AC off. Where he tries to be a boxer, right? He tries to box textbook. He tries to box with good balance, with a good jab, right? With a straight right hand. You can see him even thinking in there like, yo, I got to do this the right way. Derek Chisora ain't that dude. Derek Chisora is winging punches from the hips. You know, he's switching southpaw like mid-combination. I mean, he'll just kind of do nothing and then all of a sudden just attack you or try to get you to attack him on the ropes and then hit you. Like, he does things that are like out of the ordinary. Yes, AJ's a much more textbook boxer than him, but you know, Derek Chisora got Usyk the way he did because of that like wild kind of style. That's my opinion. I see people disagreeing with me, but that's okay.
It's a fair opinion that because Derek is unconventional and because Derek wings shots, it's the right approach to a cerebral fighter because that's what Usyk is. So what I saw in that first Joshua versus Usyk fight is a fighter who is overthinking. You are overthinking this fight. You're literally, I saw him fencing. Bro, step into your jab. If you hit him on the arms, fuck it. Cripple his arms. Break it. You're a heavyweight. You weigh 240-something pounds. Break him. That's what you have to do.
Another good question. What's the ideal weight for AJ going into this fight? Is it the 230s? Is it the 240s? Is it the 250s? Because he's had a range his entire carear.
Well, that's a judgment call. That's a judgment call.
That's a very easy answer. I'm gonna tell you like Robert Brooks told me. Shout out to Mr. Brooks. He said whatever weight that you as a matter of fact, Robert Brooks and Buddy McGirt. He said whatever weight you feel comfortable at.
Yeah.
Whatever weight you feel comfortable at is the right weight.
That's right.
Period.
Yeah.
Jesse Casella says, huge Nello fan, but this fight feels a little different. Fair enough.
Can I point out to, like, with the Derek Chisora thing, right? One thing a lot of people overlook, right, is when you win the ABA amateur tournament and barely have no experience at all, and that's what Derek did. He went into boxing for weight loss reasons. When you go over to Finland with less than 12 fights and controversially lose to one of the top prospects in Helenius, then after that, you get a fight counter with Vlad because Emmanuel Stewart pulled him out because he didn't like the look in Derek's size. Then you fight Vitaly in Germany. Then you fight David Hay. Then you fight this guy, Kevin Johnson, Tyson Fury twice, this and that. What people underestimate is his experience, how much that played into the fight.
He's cagey for sure. He's a cagey.
Yeah, he's very, very experienced fighter. Not the best. I'm not saying he's the best, but he's very experienced, and a lot of people underestimate that.
Well, I think what they underestimate in Derek Chisora, which is why I would favor him to knock fucking Adam Kovnowski's block off. I'd wager that he could give Ruiz nightmares even today.
If you look at Derek, he wasn't like tense when he went in there with.
He knows the assignment.
Yeah.
He knows the assignment.
Yeah.
He's never in a place where this is affecting what I'm gonna do.
Right.
He's never in a place like, bro, I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna fight. Win or lose, we gonna fight, and you better stop me because
Derek
if you don't.
Derek's not coming out there. Oh, I've got to throw the perfect jab, and I wonder if the crowd is going to be. No, you're not worried about none of that.
Hey, you're right about that, beast. Derek don't give a Derek.
Derek is another guy. Derek very recently dyed his beard red. another sign of character. I can't do that, bro. I can't go in there and dye my beard red and wear that's like Usyk's haircut. Capricorns, we're very unique. And when you see a Capricorn doing some fly shit like that, be afraid because you got your work cut out for you. This guy's running around with a red beard, fam. Look at Usyk's haircut. You can't go to the movies with a haircut like that. People are gonna point at you.
The bottom line is AJ has to go in there and he's got to enjoy himself. He's got to go in there thinking, yo, this ain't my last fight. This is another fight, an important fight, but it's not my last fight, right? Like, go in there and like replicate the sparring session that you're really feeling yourself and doing well. That's what you have to do. And if he can't do that, he'll lose. Like I was breaking it down in one of my weeklies. Like, you see Usyk, he's always dancing and doing quirky things. What that releases a lot of endorphins and tension from, from the stresses of boxing, and that allows him to perform. And AJ, I'm not saying he's got to dance and be Usyk, but he's got like stop stressing over your gas tank and weight and shit like that. Go in there and just do what comes naturally, man. Do what comes naturally.
See, Usyk dancing, which I regularly do in my living room and my kitchen when I wake up. I'll come out the bedroom, I'll be listening to some old 80s shit, and I'll be grooving, man. I'll be fucking happy. Puts you in the right place psychologically, but more importantly, your range of motion, your movement, the fluidity of your movement. It helps. It helps.
100%.
You need to be loose. Larry Holmes had one of the best jabs, not because it was tense, but because it flowed. It flowed. It wasn't mop. It flowed. You didn't expect, and it flowed. That's what fam, you bigger than him. You thinking too much about his feet stop it. You bigger than him. Show him. You bigger than him, bro. I'm going to beat the fucking shit out of you, bro. All that, forget that first fight, bro. I'm going to fucking.
Hey, Jules.
Ian Hutch. It's been Huggy Bear the last few times with Big AJ, aka Huggy Bear.
Why you be hating hard? You be hating hard.
Snoop Dogg did a great job. Look, Snoop Dogg did a great job playing Huggy Bear, but AJ did better. So look,
I just feel that certain things, it's like, look, if you was gonna go shag a joint, right? If you spent all your time worrying, like, anticipate the moment and enjoy the moment for what the moment is. Because if you went in there thinking, damn, I hope I don't nut fast, that's going to fuck all the pussy up, bro. Thinking like that, like, well, fuck all that. I'm going to fucking, you crap, man, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever happened, I'm going in. I got my fucking snorkel.
Hey, Jules, you got to drop the link again for Sporting Icons. And I have to bounce. Hey, listen, man. Beats, man. Much love being on the panel with you, my brother, man. You know, I got a lot of love for you. But man, Maestro, we ain't talked in a while, man. But still crazy. You still crazy as ever.
Let's catch up. Let's catch up, Malachi.
Hey, listen. I'm talking about Lomachenko today, man. At 3, man. If anybody want to stop by. Drop the link. I want to open the panel, man.
All right, so cool.
I want to talk about Loma today, man. You know, he's one of my favorite fighters, and so. Want to talk about him.
And he's downloading the data right now.
He's downloading the information. Man, he's losing. Theo was beating this guy. He won the last 6 rounds. Yeah, but he's downloading the information. He's the Matrix. You don't understand. His brain is a computer.
You gotta love those moments, man. When I'm like, it's been 4 rounds. He hasn't thrown a punch. Are you sure?
That goddamn Timothy Bradley boy, God. Well, I'm like, dude, I know you love Loma, but damn.
Right now, I got a question for Sporting. I asked these styles this and Kelly X Boxing very recently. AJ said that they were going into fights kind of winging it, that they didn't have game plans. Do you take that comment at face value that you guys have been winging it all this time and you haven't, like the Ruiz performance, for example, you're saying that in that fight, when you boxed on the balls of your feet and stayed behind your jab, that wasn't a game plan and you're just now using game plans. Do you take that at face value? Do you believe him?
No, I don't. And the reason I don't, if you watch the last few Anthony Joshua, well, in fact, most Anthony Joshua fights ever since he defeated probably Brazil, he's had a game plan and he always questions the corner. What is it that I'm doing? What should I do here? And for example, he made a comment quite recently that no member of his team told him he was losing, and he thought that he was winning the fight. So quite clearly, he needs the corner. He needs the game plan, because at times I get the impression, and I love Anthony Joshua, but I get the impression he can't think for himself. He can't adapt and see what's going on for himself. He needs someone to tell him. So yeah, there's definitely a game plan.
Beats, what do you think about that before we wrap this up?
I think probably there's probably some half truths to it, and probably some truths where they've probably just let him go out there or maybe just like say, this is what I'm going to do, and they've tailored it around him. But it seems now Robert Garcia's got full control of what he's going to execute out there. That's what it seems to me now.
Maestro, you heard what he said, that, and Rob McCracken was saying it in the corner. He gave him a false representation of the action. Do you think that in part led to the loss?
Well, I mean, if he thinks it is, if he thinks it did, then maybe it did. I don't know quite where he was coming from when he said he thought he was looking like Muhammad Ali in there. That was I forget who first brought up the quote, but they forgot to mention that part. I thought I was looking like Muhammad Ali in there. I don't know. Maybe he thought he was winning. Maybe he thought he was winning early. I'm not too sure. Like those late rounds, though. I mean, they were tough even to watch, to be honest with you. In terms of the game planning, I don't really believe, though, that there was no game planning in the other fights. All right. His rematch win against Ruiz Jr., they clearly planned to fight that way.
Yeah.
So much so that you even saw AJ fighting his own instincts at time to like get right back at Ruiz.
Yeah.
But to get back onto the jab or the clinch. Like you saw him like fighting his instincts. So they clearly had a plan in that fight. Also, I mean, anyone who watched the Ruiz fight knows they clearly had the Pulev fight knows that they clearly had a plan there too. Right? Because you saw him boxing and moving and, having opportunities to really go for it. But to his credit, staying disciplined. Staying disciplined is in relation to a plan. So I disagree with that assertion that they didn't have a plan. You could say that they didn't have the right plan, but they clearly had a plan.
Thank you for that, gentlemen. Thank you for coming on. Let everybody know where they can find you, Maestro, and when.
Oh, right, for sure. So you can find me on my channel, which is Maestro A, or Maestro A in Espanol, Maestro A, right here on YouTube. I go live with a daily news report every day that I just started last week. I go live Monday with my brother Kenny T for Mano a Mano. And then I also go live for what I call punchlines when there's a topic or video that I really want to react to and go into more depth on it. And my most recent punchlines was this morning when I was talking about how, listen, Eddie Hearn just pulled the hustle of the millennium with this whole get in the bag from the zone, from the Saudis and leaving the zone without anything. But anyhow, thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on, brother.
All right, no problem. Beats, tell them where they can find you and when.
Boxing Beats and Rhymes on YouTube, The Black Boxer on Twitter. I see it there. Big up. Peace.
Sporting icons with the most iconic sports of the sporting. Where can they find you and when?
They can usually find me on a Saturday night trolling the streets of Newcastle with some cheap-ass hookers. That's usually where I'm at. Come find me. Say hello.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. Always welcome on the panel. This has been The Big Think.